the Best You podcast. The sole purpose of this podcast is to teach, inspire, and motivate everyone to be the best versions of themselves. What's up, everyone? Welcome back for another episode of the Be the Best You podcast. I'm your host, Larry Dawson. If you're watching or listening tonight, please take the time to like, subscribe, share, leave us a comment, let us know what you think about the show. So today I'm going to talk to you guys on a more serious note. I'm going to talk to you about being kind. Being kind to people, to strangers. You know, a lot of us will be kind to our family, well, some of us, but you know, in all seriousness, like this country, I've watched a dramatic change over the last several years where kindness and common courtesy has basically gone out the window. And it's sad to see, you know, help that fellow man out. We're all brothers and sisters, we're all neighbors, we're all in this together. Unity, respect, human decency. A lot of things have changed over the last several years, and not necessarily for the better. There's a real lack of human communication with each other. I think a lot of that has to do with technology. A lot of people being behind screens a lot of times these days, whether it's cell phones, tablets, computers, what have you, TV screens, and we lose touch with really communicating. And communicating isn't emails and text messages or phone conversations, but like real interaction with real human beings. And you can tell that people are so used to interacting with screens and through typing messages that they're almost awkward and uncomfortable having face-to-face and real human contact and conversations. And that's part of the issue. There's several issues. That's something that needs to change. That's why I don't like when parents let electronics raise the kids instead of being parents, because that's the type of people it produces and sends into the world. But also there's a real lack of respect out there. And a lot of times I hear stuff about young people, and I do a lot of mentoring and deal with young people myself. And yes, young people these days are different, and young people these days tend to lack respect and discipline and common courtesy. And there isn't a lot of things, but I remind myself and tell myself, not necessarily give these kids a pass, but look deeper into the situation and see that it's the parents that are raising the kids to be like this. Sometimes the apple does fall far from the tree, and you have good parents that produce someone that's not the best, you know, kid that they're sending into the world. But the majority of the time, it's these parents, man. The parents are part of the problem. You know, you have to understand, when you have a kid, it's not a part-time job, it's a full-time job. A lot of time it's these parents' fault for trying to be the kids' friends or buddies with them instead of teaching them like a parent's supposed to do. A parent is supposed to teach a kid about discipline and respect and consequences and life choices and being accountable, and teach these things to them and prepare them for when they enter the world, how to handle events, how to handle themselves, how to handle other people. But we're not doing that. We're giving them passes, we're making up excuses, we're babying them, we're trying to be their friends, and that's not producing good people. So a lot of times when I see these current events going on, I get frustrated because our young people catch all the blame, and I don't think enough of the blame is being put on the parents. But and so when I'm throwing this net and I'm casting it over these parents, you know, it's not just kids that are part of the problem out there these days, it's all people. Middle-aged people have become, you know, just as bad, rude and disrespectful, and then the kids see that and they repeat that behavior. But, you know, whatever happened to being nice, opening doors, yes ma'am, no ma'am, please, thank you, carrying the groceries for an older person, doing stuff to be kind, help other kids in the neighborhood that might not have a mother or father, stepping up to the plate, doing certain things. We don't do these things in a lot of places anymore. And it's a lost art, and it's something that we need to bring back. We need to get our respect and our decency back as people. We need to start going back to treating ourselves and other people with respect and decency. We need to hold ourselves accountable. We need to hold the kids accountable. We need to hold the parents accountable. We need to hold each other accountable. There's so much bickering and fighting and arguing amongst everybody, whether it's about politics or race or money or whatever else that they give you to argue and fight about, because a lot of that comes from the mass manipulation of the media manipulating us and pushing agendas on us, and politicians pushing agendas on us, and Fox and CNN and Apple and Samsung and Facebook and Real Housewives and news medias and stories getting pushed in every different direction that they want you to get pushed in, keeping you distracted, pumping, violence and decision and anger and drama in our face all the time. And I think as people, we get addicted to seeing that, living that way, that behavior, those behavior patterns. And so when that happens, we go about living our lives and looking at things a certain way and don't even realize it. I made the comment giving a speech one day in front of a lot of people when I could tell everybody was into the speech, and I was like, man, y'all feeling the speech? And they were like, yeah. I said, the sad thing about that is that I could give you this speech, I could send it to you on video, and maybe a quarter of you in the room would watch it, and that would be it. But if I gave you a video of me smacking someone, everyone in this room would watch it 4, 5, 6 times, send it to their friends, their family, so forth and so on. But that's the mindset of being addicted to drama and violence over positivity and good things. So, to me, life is like the yin and yang symbol. You have the good and the bad, you have the negative and the positive, you have the right and the wrong. You have the ability to do either. We all do. We all as human beings do. Unfortunately, too much these days is to the negative, and there's not enough positive put out there. So those of us that choose to be positive, live positive, and have positive in our life and spread positivity, we have to tune these things out, tune the news out, tune our coworkers out, tune the drama out, tune the stuff that comes out on social media, the stuff that's on TV, the stuff that's on the computer, the stuff that's in your face, and ignore that stuff and not let that stuff affect us, because it's like a disease, and continue to have a positive attitude. I challenge anyone else that is watching or listening to do the same thing. Tune that stuff out, remove that stuff from your life. Replace it with positivity and put positive things in your life, put positive energy out there, treat people kind, treat people with respect. My grandfather had this saying that he used to say all the time. He used to say, smile and the world will smile with you. Frown and the world will frown with you. That couldn't be more true. That's a very true statement even to this day. The law of attraction basically says that, you will receive the same energy that you're putting out, which goes back to the analogy and the saying of my grandfather. Those two go hand in hand. If you are frowning and putting negative energy out, that's what's coming back to you. If you're smiling and putting positive energy out, that's what's coming back to you. So I want to challenge everyone out there to do that, to put positive energy out there, to, even if someone is acting rude, you don't know what that person is going through, you don't know what's on their mind, say something kind to them, give them a compliment, say hi, wave, open the door for them, anything you can. If there's someone in your neighborhood, that's lost a parent and you're close to that age, step up, maybe do something for that kid at some point, sometime. You see an older person walking out to their car struggling, don't just think about yourself and what you have going on. One day you're going to be older like that, and it's going to be you trying to get those groceries to the car. Take the time, stop, help that person get those groceries to the car. You know, if you can afford it, not everybody can afford it. I know we're in tough economic times right now, but if you can afford it, when Thanksgiving or Christmas comes around, try maybe buying a box or two of extra food and giving out to someone you know that might be in need. You know, anything to spread positivity and change where we're at now. So the name of my podcast is the Be the Best You podcast, and anyone's tuning in to my podcast knows that and knows that about me. So be the best you, and that goes for everybody. We all have the ability to be the best version of ourselves, an okay version of ourselves, a terrible version of ourselves. Just ask yourself, are you being the best version of yourself? Could you be a better person? Could you be kinder? Could you treat other people better? Would you like to be treated better? And you think to yourself, one person can't make a difference. One person can make a difference, because you make a difference in one person's life, that person makes a difference in two people's life, those two people make a difference in three or four people's lives, those three or four, so forth and so on. And so it's like throwing a rock into a lake and you see the ripple effects that it causes. Everything is cause and effect, yin and yang. Think about that, and think about treating your neighbor, your friends, strangers with kindness and decency. Let's remove all this drama and, you know, who can talk more shit about someone else, and this victim mentality and this cancel culture and this woke movement and this fighting and hating each other over politics or who got the shot or didn't, and so forth and so on. Let's remove this stuff. Let's replace it with positivity and love. Change can happen. Changes happen. If you look at the history of the world, the history of this country, there's been dramatic shifts and dramatic changes. Anything's possible. It takes a movement. So let the wolves out there help guide the sheeps out there. If they can't do it on their own, let's help them do it. Let's make changes. Let's be better people. Let's be kinder to each other. Let's lead by example. Man, I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from, why I'm saying these things. This is an important message, and this is an important time in our country, in our lives, and in the world right now. Please leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Also, let me know something else you'd like to hear me talk about. Ask me some questions. I'll answer them live on here for you. Take the time, man, to like, share, subscribe. Thank you again for tuning in to the Be the Best You podcast. It's been my pleasure. This is Larry Dawson. Until next time, try until you fly.